Hey guys, it's time for 5 on Friday. I'm so glad to be back and doing the nerd stuff instead of just random life updatey baloney. Anyways, so today I want to talk about Jessica Jones. So I had a pretty straight-laced upbringing. I didn't actually read a lot of comics until I was older. I don't know if it's just my parents didn't like comic books or if they're afraid of violence or I don't know. I didn't listen to a lot of alternative music and I didn't get to play a lot of video games. I had very much like a classic video game upbringing. None of my family members were like super geeky like I am. My dad's a closet nerd. He's really into Star Trek. But like in general, I didn't get to read comics, which also means that Jessica Jones, which was definitely made for a more adult audience. Like, I didn't get to read that until I was much older. But I'll be honest with you, I don't really remember a lot of it. I don't know if I wasn't particularly interested in it or what, but now that I'm older and I have started rereading some of it, I like it a lot more. And for those of you who've known me a long time, you know that I like purple hair a lot. And one of the things I might do is I might actually cosplay as Jewel, which is what Jessica Jones' original superhero name and alias was. And I want to talk about some of the differences between the Netflix series and the comics now that I've been rereading them, and basically how Jessica Jones is best defender, best pony, best everything. Like, she's amazing. So the first thing is definitely Jessica Jones in the Netflix series. It has a slightly different personality. All the basics are still there. And definitely they nail her overall kind of persona, but she was in Alias a superhero. She wore a tight spandex suit. I mean the whole nine. She had purple hair. She flew, sort of. She does fly. She doesn't fly. It depends on which of the comic books you are reading. But anyways, so she was a full-blown superhero. She worked alongside the Avengers, and she doesn't do any of that in the series, which good, because quite frankly, we need a division between the street level heroes and the Avengers, because the cinematic universe and the show universe can make nods to each other, but I don't think they should collide. The next thing is her best friend. So Trish in the Netflix series is actually the replacement for Carol Danvers. Now, if Carol Danvers sounds familiar, that's because that is Captain Marvel. Captain Marvel will be getting her own solo film, so I'm sure they just couldn't use it. Again, they want to keep those universes equal but separate, separate but together. What's that really terrible way of phrasing it? You know what I mean. And so I think it's really interesting though, because I would really, really, really like to see Trish become Hellcat. There is a Trish, there's all this stuff, but anyways, Hellcat is what hopefully Trish will become, which is kind of her own superhero. And you can tell that Trish is real into like the whole superhero angle, not just because of the way that she talks for her show and everything else, but also she does encourage Jessica Jones to be a superhero and tries to give her a spandex suit, which is a nod back to Jewel, but that doesn't happen. The next thing is the love interest triangle, probably is a more accurate description, between Jessica Jones, Luke Cage, and Ant-Man. I don't know if you guys remember that. I didn't remember that at all. I absolutely didn't remember it. I was reading and I was like, really? Like, But everyone is of course rooting for the romance between Luke Cage and Jessica Jones. And in the comics, they actually like have a baby together and everything eventually. And she becomes Jessica. I believe it's Jessica Campbell Jones Cage is like her full name. Woo, that's a mouthful. Anyways, and they don't really go over as much. Obviously, her and Luke Cage are not established in this world. In Alias, they are a fairly established couple. And that is for the better, in my opinion. I think that seeing Luke Cage and seeing Jessica Jones as two individual series that don't necessarily have a serious interest in each other right now, letting them kind of mature and develop on their own is much, much better. Other things that I really love about Jessica Jones, and I'm a little disappointed in the Netflix series, whenever you look at the actual like power levels of each one, Jessica Jones should be physically the strongest. It's almost her only superpower. She's just about strength. She has very little training, and she uses her head oddly a lot more than most of the others, which is interesting. Daredevil should be pretty all around decent. He's kind of like your starter character. If we're gonna put this in like our RPG nerd stats, Jessica's straight strength. Like you put all your points in strength for her. Luke Cage is the tank. He just takes it. His bulletproof skin. You put all his points in defense. Daredevil is your very even kind of individual. You have to remember too, he doesn't really have superpowers. Like, he's not a mutant necessarily. He hasn't been altered in any way, because technically the idea that he can hear like sonic frequencies, like, like a bat, there's actually humans that can do that in real life, which is so weird to think of. Anyways, and then you have Iron Fist, who in theory should be the best because he's been training his entire life and has magic, but he just sucks because he's a big old whiny baby, and I can't stand him. He is a baby man-child, and he's annoying, and I hope that they do there's some beautiful Marvel plan for him, because I can't stand him in his own series. I didn't bother finishing it. I hated it. And I will force myself to watch the rest of it because I'm that fangirl. But it was bad. It was bad, guys. It was real bad. Okay, so I actually went over, I really love Jessica Jones. I do not have as much enthusiasm today as I would like to have, because I am very, very tired. We are finally Irma recoveried up, and I want to sleep a lot. We're very fortunate nothing terrible happened. Unfortunately, though, my sister-in-law had to reschedule her wedding. Yeah. So that's crazy. So pray for all of us here. Pray for everyone else who has not recovered yet, and all the things that need to get fixed for everybody. As the weather continues to be crazy, keep those people in your mind and prayers too. And next week, I'm going to be talking about the Defenders, like for real, just the Defenders, and kind of how it's different too between the Netflix series and the comics. And I'm going to try and keep that one a little bit shorter, a little bit more concise. This one was a little rambly because I really like Jessica Jones. And I really, really want to cosplay as her. I think that is probably going to be one of my new cosplays. And maybe I'll actually go somewhere with it. Wish me luck. Have a great weekend, y'all.